In this video, I'm going to show you around this monstrosity of a computer that Sony decided to make back in 2008. And it's this weird circular disc type shape, as you can see. In fact, it's so circular and disc shaped that if you're bored with it and the performance isn't satisfying you, you can just roll it around on your floor. Kind of. You can kind of roll it around. But anyways, this is an expensive thing to be rolling around. This thing was $3,000 when it was new.
Overpriced system with a set price of $3,000.
Which is insane considering that the specs in this thing aren't even that good for the price. But you might be like, oh, well, you're getting it for the features. Well, the features in it I don't even think are worth the extra price you're going to be paying for it. But we'll talk about that later in this video. We're even going to try to do some modern gaming and tasks with it. So enjoy the video.
Beans.
Anyways, let's talk more about this innovative PC from 2008. So, I guess this was marketed as Sony's high-end living room PC. Honestly, to me, it just looks like a Roomba. I mean, come on, guys, they're pretty similar. Anyways, let's go over the specifications of our little UFO here. So, it has an Intel Core 2 Duo T8100. It's a dual-core 2.1 gigahertz. Doesn't sound very fancy, but honestly, I guess it was fancy back in 2008. We also have 2 gigs of RAM. It's a little disappointing. Have a big 500 gig 7200 RPM hard drive, and we do have dedicated graphics, thank God. It is the NVIDIA GeForce 8400M GT. Nothing special, but at least back in 2008 you would be able to play back videos very smoothly on your $3,000 UFO. As for the operating system, it did come with Windows Vista Home Premium, but I've decided to upgrade it to the legendary Windows 7 Home Premium because, well, A, Windows 7's more supported, and B, I like Windows 7 better. And that does mean that I do have all the original Vaio software, so we will take a look at that, and that was one of its main selling points. As for the I/O in this machine, on the front we have a Blu-ray drive and a DVD burner. We also have a card reader, 2 USB 2.0 ports, 5-wire port, and a button to connect the wireless remote. We'll get to the accessories as well, because that was another big selling point, because it came with a lot of accessories. And on the back we have a wide variety of ports, including some weird antenna connector that I don't know what it's for, wireless LAN connector for an antenna, infrared transmitter out, 2 USB 2.0 ports, microphone and headphone jacks, optical audio out, Ethernet, AV in, HDMI out, VGA out, and the DC power plug. It's a little disappointing to only have 4 USB 2.0 ports, but I mean, I guess if you're buying a $3,000 PC that looks like a UFO, you don't need any more USB ports than just 4. As for the accessories that came with this thing, well, I don't have any of them as I bought this thing from Goodwill, but I have some other accessories to kind of visualize what you would be getting with this thing. So, I mean, you know, you'd be getting a wireless keyboard, you would be getting either a wireless mouse or or you'd have to use the touchpad on the keyboard. You know, you get a remote to control it. You get some other stuff like an AV tuner, and you get some weird AV tuner thing. I don't understand what it is or what it actually does. And I mean, you get some other stuff. I mean, just, I don't know. As you can see, I definitely did some heavy-duty, hardcore research about this thing before doing this video. So now we're going to stick this thing under my TV and see how well it does it actually being a home theater PC. We're going to be sticking it next to probably what would have been next to it in the mid-2000s, which is consisting of a Wii and an Xbox 360 or a PS3 if you're that type of person. But let's hook it up to my TV through its beautiful HDMI port, and let's see how well it does at being a modern home theater PC. Alright, now that the computer is booted up, we can see that we are in the legendary and honestly quite good looking still Windows 7 Home Premium, obviously upgraded from Windows Vista. This computer comes with pretty much all of the regular Vaio software, including the Vaio Media Center, the Control Center, the Vaio video editing software, which actually is kind of appealing. I'm almost tempted to try and edit a video with it. And it also comes with other special Vaio things like its background and its recovery partition, which is probably getting very hard to find, and I should honestly upload this recovery partition to archive.org. But now that you've seen a quick look of Windows 7, let's go ahead and take this thing apart to show you how it is inside. Alright, it's time to show you how to disassemble this thing and to replace its hard drive. I'm probably the first person on YouTube, as far as I know, to ever do a disassembly video on one of these things, but here goes nothing. So first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to flip it over and unscrew the bottom cover that looks like it has like a speaker hole in it, but there's really no speaker there. That is where your RAM and some of the hidden screws are going to be, so you're just going to want to remove that. And then there will be 4 screws along the sides of the machine. There's going to be 2 super long ones and 2 short ones, so just remember where those go. Then you're going to want to undo the 2 screws over in the under the RAM door that we just removed. Then you're going to want to flip it over. Then you're going to want to remove the 2 screws on the rear of the computer where all of the I/O is. And the top cover is going to be what's coming off. Now, mine came off super easily because I've opened mine before, so I assume I broke some of the plastic clips, but you may need to use like a little prying tool to try and get the top cover to come off. Then after that is basically layers upon layers upon layers of metal and screws. So just undo any of the screws that you see, and then you will be able to get the first plate off, and you will be able to access the hard drive caddy. After that, there will be 4 more screws that you need to undo over by the hard drive caddy, and then you will be able to lift up the hard drive and disconnect the SATA, power, and data cables. This is also where you can clean your CPU fan as well if it's a little noisy. If you want me to, I'll do a more in-depth video, kind of like a step-by-step video on how to disassemble this thing. I won't go all the way down to the motherboard because it's kind of a pain to put back together, but I'll do a step-by-step guide replacing the hard drive if you guys want to see that. But after putting in my test SSD to run Windows 10 on it, let's see how well she performs on Windows 10. Alright, now that it's only partially put back together, because I'm going to be taking this thing apart to take out my SSD anyways, let's see how well it does as being a modern home theater PC. Like, can you do what you would normally do in a home theater PC? Now, this computer is still capable of watching HD video. On YouTube, it can do 720p with only a little bit of stuttering, but it is still completely watchable. And if it's a downloaded video, it can do 1080p flawlessly, except both require all of the computer's horsepower. So if you're going to be watching YouTube in this thing, that's the only thing you're going to be doing. You're not going to be doing anything else with it. But now let's see how this old, aging $3,000 PC does at modern gaming. So there you go, that's how a $3,000 donut from 2008 performs in modern gaming. Now, it's not really modern because, well, the graphics card doesn't support DirectX 11, it only supports DirectX 10. But this thing wasn't really meant for gaming back when it was released. It really wasn't meant to have the best performance either, because it really didn't need the best performance just to be a home theater PC. It just needed to be good enough to play back videos and do home theater stuff. And it can do that, and it is still somewhat capable of doing that now in 2021. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's kind of a interesting look on this thing. And again, if you want to see a more in-depth tutorial on how to disassemble this thing to replace the hard drive, definitely leave a comment down below saying that you want that to happen, and I'll make it happen. But hope you guys enjoy this video. If you want to buy one of these, yeah, it's like $200 from Russia, and I'll see you guys next time.
Beans.